Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Hooper, and this is my multicultural research poster. My research poster deals with the topic of multicultural diversity and how it is represented in children's literature today. As educators, we are responsible for embracing the diversity that comes into our schools. One way of embracing this diversity is to provide our students literature that promotes their own personal culture and includes characters that they can relate to. To begin, it is important to quickly look back at the milestones on multicultural children's literature throughout the years. In order to know where we stand now with diversity in children's literature, it's important to know where we came from. The first prominent step in this movement came as early as the 1920s. During this time, a new magazine called the Brownies Book was founded. This magazine was created for African American children, but stopped publication after only 24 issues due to a lack of subscriptions. In 1963, the Council on Interracial Books for Children was established in response to the lack of diverse books available for children. The council featured illustrators, authors, and educators who worked to advocate for books that are more diverse and for the removal of stereotypical images found in current children's books. In 1969, the Coretta Scott King Award was established to encourage African American authors and illustrators to create outstanding books for children that promote the African American culture. Flash forward to 2003, and the Asian Pacific American Library Association created an award for children's books positively and accurately portraying Asian Americans. In 2006, the American Indian Library Association established a Youth Literature Award to honor those books that portrayed American Indians. The interesting thing about these awards is the fact that they were created 35 years after the Coretta Scott King Award was created to honor African Americans. This shows the slow growth of honoring a diverse range of different cultural groups. Now, with a better understanding of the history of where we have come from in terms of multicultural literature, it is important to understand why this topic is so important. Today's society has a wide range of cultural representation, which makes the need for diverse children's literature even more necessary. As you can see on the graph, there are several different cultural groups living in the United States today. Currently, Caucasians make up 60% of the population, while African Americans make up 12%, Asian Americans make up 5%, and the Hispanic origin is about 18%. The graph also projects where our population will be in the year 2030 and 2045. By 2045, Caucasians will drop from 60 to 50%. There will be a growth of other cultural groups, though, and particularly those from the Hispanic origin will go from 18% to 25%. This graph shows that there will continue to be a wide range of cultural groups growing each year in our country. This growth shows the importance of having multicultural children's books in our libraries. Even with all this diversity represented in today's society, there is still a significant lack of cultural representation in children's books. As Santora found in her research from 2014, about 40% of the students in our schools are children of color. Out of the 3,600 books published in 2014, only 3.3% of the books were about African Americans, 2.1 were about Asian Pacific Americans, 1.5% were about Latin Americans, and 0.6% were about American Indians. Now that we are aware of the significant lack of diversity in children's literature, but yet the growth of diversity in our country, how does one go about evaluating materials to determine if they embrace the ideas of multicultural diversity? Some of the criteria include featuring well-developed characters from a variety of cultural groups. These characters should also be placed in realistic situations. They should portray an accurate representation of the culture's dialects, language, and ideas. All these criteria are important in creating characters that show diversity in today's society. By featuring children from diverse groups, students will be able to see their own self-worth by relating to the characters they read about. Another important criteria is to make sure the information found in multicultural literature is historically accurate, especially in nonfiction works. The illustrations in multicultural literature are key to portraying diversity in a positive light to children. The pictures or drawings found in multicultural books should be accurate to the time period and culture portrayed. The illustrations should not be stereotyping a particular cultural group. Racial groups should be depicted with a variety of skin colors and physical features that are not overemphasized. It is key to present different diverse groups accurately through the illustrations of a story because it plays a major role in transmitting cultural images. It is also important to select books that convey messages that we want our students to learn. Unfortunately, some children's literature still features stereotypes and biases. Selecting well-rounded multicultural books means making an active commitment to dispel these stereotypes and provide a realistic glimpse into the lives of these diverse groups. While children may not pick up on these stereotypes, the repeated biased representations could have negative effects on them. There has been a serious movement happening in our society to include diverse groups in the books we read today. Several awards have been established to celebrate those authors and illustrators portraying diversity in an authentic and positive light. The Pura Belpré Award was created to honor those authors and illustrators portraying the Latin American culture. The Jane Addams Children's Book Award celebrates authors and illustrators that are creating books that promote peace, diversity, and acceptance. Another important development in the inclusion of multicultural literature is the presence of social media. There have been many social media initiatives created to help propel forward the importance of representing diverse cultures in the books our children read. Marley Dias, an 11-year-old African American girl, launched her own program called the Thousand Black Girl Books. The purpose of this initiative was to share 1,000 books that featured African American lead female characters. Another group that was created was We Need Diverse Books. This group consists of authors, illustrators, and people in the publication field who are all working today to create cultural diversity in the books we read. While we as a society have been making small strides to include multicultural literature since the early 1900s, we still have a very long way to go. It is important when creating our own library collections to evaluate the materials already on the shelves and to continually work to acquire new diverse books to create a well-rounded collection that represents all cultures and viewpoints. Thank you.